For the first time, the two leaders will come face to face
in the first leaders' debate in Brisbane.
Rule number one is don't mess up.
And it can be decisive, these.
The proposal for an anti-corruption commission, I'd like to know what the two gentlemen here would offer to give that some teeth.
We have that legislation. It deals with criminal matters. It is not a kangaroo court. It is not something that is trying to trial people in the media. It's not about who your boyfriend is or things like that.
We need to restore faith in the political system. But the truth is there's a stench around a whole range of issues in Canberra. Now, what we need is a national anti-corruption commission with teeth.
A third of the way through the 2022 election campaign, and the tone of it has noticeably changed. The first week was dominated by gaffes, or talk of gaffes, and they certainly set the tone of many of the questions to leaders of the major political parties and what issues were discussed. A trend that started to deflate after a question to the leader of a minor political party.
What's the current WPI?
Well, Google it, mate.
It's awesome.
But it wasn't just mistakes by Anthony Albanese that seemed to shape Labor's first week, but a general looseness with the details of the opposition's own policies.
Why the confusion, and why aren't you using the Parliamentary Budget Office?
Well, this policy has been fully costed. It's been informed by work of the Parliamentary Budget Office, but the key consultation about the cost has been with general practices who understand what additional funding they need.
But as the second week of the campaign draws to a close, the issues under scrutiny have changed, as have the pressures on the leaders. Anthony Albanese's shaky start produced a hit in the opinion polls, but news that the Solomon Islands had signed a security deal with China put Scott Morrison under a lot more pressure. A PM who campaigns hard on national security needed to explain how, on his watch, a menacing regional power may soon have a military base just 2,000 kilometres away.
The security agreement between China and the Solomons is a massive failure of our foreign policy. Once again, Scott Morrison went missing.
It's a sign of how a campaign is going that one side or the other is able to use a line that covers lots of bases. Last week, Anthony Albanese forgetting the cash rate and unemployment rate gave the government a powerful line.
If you don't know what's going on in the economy, then you can't put together plans that grow jobs.
But by today, the opposition was able to mention the Prime Minister going missing, which harks back to the Black Summer bushfires, no less than 12 times during one press conference in reference to the Solomon Islands.
If you're elected next month, what would your government do to address that?
We'd actually not go missing. We'd turn up.
What I do know is we've always been very conscious of that threat of China being able to influence a nation in our region.
Overwhelmingly, though, the PM's response on the Solomon Islands today was about Labor, as it was last night.
It's a very important issue, and I'm sure the Labor Party would agree. But what I don't understand is that when something of this significance takes place, why would you take China's side?
Well, last night, the leaders faced questions from undecided voters. Significantly, they were questions that better reflected Labor's talking points than the government's. The nursing workforce and aged care, dealing with corruption, electric vehicles and disaster management. There was also a question from a mother who wanted to know why her 4-year-old's NDIS package had been cut by 30% without a reason being given.
Well, thank you, Catherine. What's your son's name?
Ethan.
Ethan, he's 4.
He's 4.
Jenny and I have been blessed. We've got 2 children that haven't had to go through that. And so for parents with children who are disabled, I can only try and understand your aspirations for those children, and I think that is the beauty of the National Disability Insurance Scheme.
The PM spent time today apologising for his remarks about being blessed, which many people in the disability community found hurtful and offensive. But the problem was that, even beyond the language, the explanation for why he had said it only pointed to the problems in the system.
The PM actually in that context was talking about the not having to deal with the many challenges of systems that you have to work through to get the support.
Unfortunately, Ethan's story isn't an isolated one. One example that I had was Ellie, who's a Brisbane woman who came to Canberra to tell her story, she needs a colostomy bag. And part of the assessment that she had was that she could reuse colostomy bags rather than be given new ones, just wash them out.
Through all this, however, has run the strange spectre of Scott Morrison doubling down on his defence of the Liberal candidate in Warringah, Catherine Deeves, and what seems a never-ending stream of her controversial remarks about the transgender community. The PM's defence has ranged from the right to free speech to his desire to stand up for women. It has provoked increasingly public splits within his own party. The explanation is seen as being about locking in votes elsewhere, but also, and very significantly, preferences from One Nation and Clive Palmer's United Australia Party. That's a move that could see a future coalition government not only constrained on policy by the Nationals, but by another couple of rogue minor parties.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.